Yeah, I don't know what to do in terms of maybe time format, perhaps shorter time control. Maybe go back to what we used to have, like an hour and 30 minutes, and then get 30 minutes, or get less, 15 minutes. Get it down to like an hour. I don't know. There's so
I'm
many
fine with
options.
90-30, 90 minutes, 30-second increment.
And
I'm
no
fine with
second
that.
time control.
I'm also fine with other things. I'm fine with a thematic tournament where openings are drawn before the game out of a hat. And let's say they're pre-selected openings, so you don't get like completely garbage opening. But you don't know what you're going to be playing. So there is no like...
That's a new
People can't hide in their repertoire, which is what people actually do. I'm not blaming them for it. I mean, they feel it's best for their chess, for their results. But the system should perhaps account for just how developed theory is. Fischer random is another solution. I'm totally fine with Fischer random classical, rapid.
We need to maintain classical. We need to keep classical.
But Fischer random classical is classical.
No, classical chess, like normal chess.
I just don't understand. Like, I understand that there's
not
a place,
Fischer random,
but I don't see why.
It's just two different games.
It's not two different games.
In my opinion.
Why is it two different games? It's
the
literally
pieces
the same
move
game.
the same.
You just don't know what happens at the start.
Not really.
What do you mean?
I mean, the patterns are completely different.
At the start?
Yes.
And then you play a normal game. And everyone's on their own.
Not really, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's the same rules apply.
I think the only downside of it is that some positions are very, very dangerous from the beginning for black. And maybe some like cutting out of certain positions to ensure that someone doesn't get screwed over by a really dangerous position or potentially even a bad position.
But this is why I'm talking about patterns. Like, the patterns are not the same. The opening patterns are not the same. Like, you spend your whole life on normal chess, and now you're basically not a noob, obviously, because you can calculate, you can use whatever tools you have from normal chess, but still, it feels like a completely new game. At least that's how it feels
I
for
can
me.
guarantee you'll see the same exact players at the top.
You think so? No way.
100%.
That would be an interesting
with some small
social
changes.
experiment.
I mean, some small changes, but you'll see the same. I mean, we have some data to like back it up, but yeah, the problem with Fischer random. I mean, they had like qualifiers in 2019. The final 4 players were Magnus, Jan, Wesley, and myself. Through online qualifiers, which I understand. Online qualifiers, they have their issues, but
that's a good data set.
It was live proctored. Wesley won.
Yeah.
In 22, when Hikaru won, which is he's a reigning champion, although they haven't had a world championship since then. So I don't know. I like a title which doesn't ever have a follow up is a bit strange to me. But okay, he's a reigning champion. In 22, he won. It had online qualifiers, but I didn't like that they just added 4 wildcards. Like, it felt like, okay, Magnus is a wildcard. I understand. He's Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
But Jan is a wildcard. Okay. Then they had the local wildcard, who was Grederson, I think.
Yes.
And Icelandic Grandmaster, I guess he's ranked first in Iceland. I don't know if they should be doing wildcards for an official world championship.
Yeah, that's a world championship.
Yeah,
obviously.
Like, you can do wildcards for your own private tournament, but for official world... And then there was one more wildcard, and I was like, okay, half the tournament is wildcards, and the rest is decided by online qualifiers with literally 0 live proctoring or cameras, no 2 cameras. Like, I played one of the events. In the, second round, I played a guy, rated 2,000, new account, who beat me, and then beat Hikaru in a later round as well. Like, okay, so this... anyway, I mean, it's 2 years ago, it doesn't matter anymore, but still, the qualification system is, of course, leaves a lot to be desired. And Hikaru, in the end, won. He qualified through a Lee Chess event, I believe. Knockout event, which I think had cameras, so there was more protection there. And he ended up winning the whole thing in a final against Jan. I forget what happened to Magnus. I think Magnus Noterbeck was a match, and maybe did Noterbeck beat Magnus? I can't remember exactly, but yeah, you'll see the same guys. I mean, the chess skills translate. They're not, it's not like
interesting.
People aren't carried by openings. That's the thing.
I actually wonder whether there would be a consensus among the top players that it's very similar and the top players would be in the same spots.
I could be wrong, but that's my view.
Yeah. I mean, I can see some of the top players, they're definitely much more openings based, much more reliant on their openings. At least that's how it feels like. Like if you take their openings away, they're going to go down to the 27-30s, 27-40s level.
I disagree. The reason why I disagree is we can take an example of a player who drastically changed just one example. We take Jan. Drastically changed his opening approach.
Okay, Jan is one of the most talented guys
Sure.
in chess.
But he is a player who, at the moment, has a very, very fixed repertoire.
Sure.
Where he knows his openings very well, and the aim with black pieces is clearly that he just wants to neutralize the game. So he's relying on black openings to neutralize the game. His rating is, let's say, 27-65 now. I don't know exactly. Let's just say.
Sure.
I think it's around there. Now go back.
Top 5. Top whatever.
Go back to 2018, 2019, let's say. His rating was probably around 27, 60, 70, exactly the same. His opening approach was totally different. He was playing Najdorf and just like complete bullshit and with very often very little knowledge and just relying on his practical skills to get him by. It's two different players. He's changed a lot in those periods where he played 2 World Championship matches and 3 candidates, naturally. But his level is the same.
But I would assume that's also the reason why he changed so drastically. 2 World Championships, 3 candidates.
Of course.
You have to apply certain strategies to these tournaments.
Yeah, but his rating is the same.
Very opening specific.
You don't have to, but it's what people do.
Yeah.
And it's very natural to do so because the alternative is the unknown.
Yeah.
It's like you take big risks and then you enter the unknown. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Otherwise, you enter the tried and tested method. You get a repertoire that will not let you down, and then you try to take some chances with white and basically draw the match out as long as possible. Ding actually took the first approach, which was, play random stuff. It was a clash of opening approaches. If you look back on the match, Ding was playing London. He was playing c4, knight c3, knight f3, e3. He played h3 on the 4th move. He played d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, c3. He played all sorts of mixed openings.
But I think this is a byproduct of him starting his prep maybe like 3 months before the match. And I think from what I've heard, he had maybe 1 or 2 camps max.
Maybe. I don't know exactly how.
There wasn't much preparation. There wasn't time to find brilliant ideas, new ideas.
Well, you can also give someone 2 years. They're not going to find ways to,
But they will find more ideas.
Or 0 ideas.
Or 0 ideas, yes.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you give me a month to check the Petrov and find some ideas. You give me a year, like, I don't know. Maybe I'll find the same amount of ideas. It might be 0, it might be 1. We'll see. It's not that easy. And anyway, whatever the reason, they had different opening approaches. It's just very visible.
Yeah.